Hello guys, welcome back to the Logic Pro beginner course. So today we're going to have a look at EQ, what EQ is about, what do we need it for, and also automation modes. A very, very interesting class today, a lot that we can learn out of it. So let's start straight away with the automation modes. So what is the automation modes? As you can see here, these ones are the different modes for our automations, and there are 4 that we can use. So the default mode, it's read. So whenever you open up a new track, whether it's audio or software, it's going to come up as a read automation mode. So what it means that if you move, for example, the volume of the track up and down while you're playing with the track, it won't record it. It won't record what you're doing. And now you will understand what I mean by it won't record it when I talk about latch. So latch, for example, it will record whatever movement you do with your track. So as you can see, I'm moving the volume fader up and down, and as you can see here, some lines are coming up. Okay, so that means that this automation here will be recorded in the track, whether we're with other functions, it won't happen. And then it keeps the last volume value you leave until you play back the stop. So in the moment it's playing here. So as you can see, also this one now is moving up. If I bring it down, the whole sound will go down as well. Right, it records automation from the start of the playback. It overwrites any existing automation on the track, so that's the write function. If you do write, it's a different function. And then touch, it records automations only while you move a control, and it returns back to the previous value when you release it. So I was actually trying to film this class before, and I was doing it on the touch function, but every time I was moving the EQ, then it will go back to its original position. So on touch, if I do this, it won't stay here, but it will go back to this original position. Well, with latch, you see I'm moving this one, and that's where it stays. And also you can see now I've moved the EQ, and there is other things that are being recorded while I move the EQ. Okay, so I'm using these functions now. I wouldn't usually normally when I'm recording, unless I have to do something very specific and I want to play with the frequencies and I need to move the frequency around. And I understand this is a little bit advanced at the moment. But I'm using this function, the latch function now, so that whatever I do in this project, in this class, you will be able to hear all the changes. Okay, so if I move the EQ, because today's class is on EQ, if I move this one and the instruments are playing, the tracks are playing, you will be able to hear all the different changes that I apply. Does it make sense? Okay, so I want to explain a little bit about EQing now. Why do we need EQ and what's the function of the EQ? And I just want to also explain that a concept that is very important in music production. EQing, mixing, editing, they're not magic tricks. They're not magic tricks to make your bad recorded sound amazing, if you know what I mean. So if you go in the studio, or if you're home or wherever you're recording music, and you're recording a vocal or you're recording an instrument and the track is not good, it doesn't sound good, editing, mixing, EQing, it can help you a little bit, but it won't make your bad recording sound amazing. Okay, so what we need to understand is that in order to be able to produce music as professionals, we need to start from a good recording, from a good product. Okay, so how you can do that? For example, you buy a good microphone, a good audio interface if you can afford it, obviously, and then you try your best, you do your best to record the vocals as perfect as you can, with less mistakes that you can, and then you can edit and you can take the best part of each take. But as long as the initial product is good, then we can work and make it sound even better. But if our product is not great, whatever we do will not help to sound better. I hope this makes sense, because I struggled with this a lot when I started producing my own music 5-6 years ago. Actually, more than that, but yeah, it's very important. So first thing, recording, make sure you use quality instrument, quality recording, and then everything else will be the cherry on top. Sorry, okay, so I hope that makes sense. And also, if you have any question, feel free to DM me on Instagram. My name is Daniele Montarulo, Daniele space Montarulo. I'm gonna put these lectures on Udemy, so I'm pretty sure you can send me a message on Udemy as well, or you can email me daniele.montarulo@outlook.it, and I will do my best to assist you in your questions. And also, if you want to listen to my music and also see the progress that I made since my very first release, my name on Spotify is Daniele Montarulo, same as in here, and I have some instrumental tracks, some songs with other musicians, so it's good for you also to see my progress and where I was when I first started releasing music and where I am now, and so that you can reassure yourself that it's a learning process, and as long as you do the work and you start producing and then you implement, you get better and better, and then at some point you will be happy with your work and you will be proud of yourself. So let's dive into the EQ. Okay, so I want to start with the bass guitar. So put the volume up a little bit. Okay, so what's the function of the EQ? Why do we need EQ? We need EQ because all the instruments, they work on specific frequencies, and we need to make sure that instruments with the same frequency spectrum are not fighting against each other for space within the mix. Okay, so for example, the bass guitar, as you can see, works on the low end of the frequency spectrum. Yeah, so from 20 to, let's say, 500, 600 hertz. Yeah, so we want to make sure that the bass it's present, but it's not overwhelming, and the frequencies are not overwhelming the rest of the mix. So for example, in this case, we have a little curve here from between 40 to 100 hertz, and this is a very interesting frequency. If I boost it a little bit, you can hear how it sounds more full and deep, right? So that's why we need to be very, very careful with our moves, and we want to make sure that just enough of this frequency is here. And then same for other type of frequencies. For example, the high hand, this one, these are all high frequency that are usually not working in the bass. So even if I put it up, there's nothing much that changes really. So we can cut it off. When you see this type of curve here, that means that this is not present at the moment. And we cut it off because we make space for other instruments like guitar or the violin that are operating in this frequency spectrum to be present, so they don't cover each other. Yeah, and then you see some cuts here on this level of frequency. So here it's where the instrument is more present. So this is the mid-range. It's called mid-range. And there's where the instruments are more present. So if we boost this one, as you can hear, the bass is more, it sounds like it's louder. Whether if we put it down, it goes a little bit more back to where it was before. Not as loud. So obviously this topic, it's very in depth, and I'm just giving you like an overview, and then if you want to go more in depth with EQ, you can keep studying the next level of this course, which will be the advanced level, and I will discuss more in depth on EQing. But for now, you have all the elements that you need to start EQing and make your song sound better. So one thing that I would do always in this case when I start EQing is cut a little bit on the low end like this, so that it's not too full. Also because most speakers and most headphones, they already have the bass, the low end boosted, so we don't need to boost even more. And then I will cut the high end on the bass, because I don't really need all of this to be there. And then as needed, depends on different things like the bass model, if it's like an electric bass or a synth bass or a real instrument bass. Like this one now, it's a software instrument, so it's not the real bass. But if it was a real bass, the sound will be a little bit more different. So I will go and try to EQ and make and trying to take the best sound out of the bass, and yeah. And then let's have a look at the drums. So same concept for the drums. Okay, so this is a preset for the drums, and you find all the presets when you open the EQ from Logic. These are all already, when you download the library, you have them already included in your Logic. So you have all these presets here that you can use. So you have vintage drums, for example, and it changes the frequency, and it gives you like different options. So you have this one, you can see the frequency, the low frequency is a little bit more boosted. You have a bit of a boost in the high end. So you can play around with these different frequencies and different presets, and figure out what works better for your song. So I'm gonna go with this one for now. Okay, so in this case, I feel like this is not breathing. I need a little bit of hair. So I'm gonna put this one up a little bit. Also want a little bit more of low end. There you go. You can hear that the kick is a little bit more present now. But also one thing that I suggest when you're EQing, it's try to do with other instruments. it's there is a concept where they say that you should never mix an instrument or EQ an instrument in solo, or work on an instrument in solo. There is sometimes that you can solo an instrument to hear it better, to if you need to edit, or if you need to work on specific frequencies. But usually it's better to have the instruments playing together, and then whatever move you do, it's will be good for in context. So in the context of the mix. What does it mean, context of the mix? That you have the other instruments as references. Because if I do the EQ on my drums while it's playing it solo, maybe it wouldn't work with the bass guitar. So the best way to do it is having both instruments, and then I can work on the EQ. Also, okay, so this one is the drums, and this one is the bass guitar EQ. And I can also have them visually here, so that I can see what frequencies are both instruments operating at, and I can make sure that there is less frequencies overlapping. Like in this case, there is a little bit of overlapping here between the 60 and the 100, but it doesn't create a problem at the moment. Also have a little boost on the 300 here, and this is the opposite. So in this case, these frequencies are not working against each other. So I'm pretty happy with this. And then we have the acoustic guitar. We'll bring that one in. So as you can see, this one I didn't put any preset on. What I would do is again cut the low end. I don't really need this. Put this one down as well. These are all frequencies that are not really needed in the guitar. Like, it's okay to have a little bit, but it's not necessary. Cut a little bit the high end as well. And I'll probably boost a little bit the mid-range. As you can hear, it's kind of clean, and so if you modify this one, it creates the little curve, so I'm cutting even more on the low end. And we do this cut. I do these cuts because it creates space, and because if you leave all this low end on each instrument, that it builds up, and you you will end up with a very muddy sound. So I'm gonna pull up the volume a little bit more. Yeah, so you can hear the sound of the guitar is pretty clear. Alright, I'll bring it down a little bit. I think it's too present in the mix. There we go. I think that's the right volume for now. So that's how I would manage the EQ on the guitar while it's playing with other instruments, and there's no many frequencies fighting against each other. You can hear the drums, you can hear the bass guitar clearly, you can hear the acoustic guitar clearly. Obviously, the more instruments you have, the more you will need to create space between each instrument and track. Now let's bring the violin in. Okay, violin, same thing. I'll cut the low end. I don't really need that. I think this it's a bit too much. I'll cut this one off a little bit. So this is where the muddiness usually is, yeah, around the 200 to 500. It's very muddy sound. And then presence is around 1000 to 4000. And also this one, this is where the harshness of the sound is. So especially with the violin can be very, very harsh. So between the 6K and 10K, I'll bring that down a little bit. I still want to leave a little bit of air so that it's not like too much. Also, this is a violin that was already in Logic, pre-recorded, so it's not something that I worked on. I didn't record this violin. It was just one of the loops. If I was going to record the violin, I would use the a proper microphone, and yeah, I will probably start with the right the right position on the mic, so that I don't have to EQ the violin too much after. But as you can hear all the tracks clearly. One more thing that we can do, okay, second, to bring up the EQ from the mix bus. So when I talk about mix bus, if you never heard this term, but you should have, because it's in the first or second class. So this is the mix bus. So this is where all the tracks are going to at the end. So whatever effects you put here, if you put like a reverb or EQ or compressor, any effects you put on the mix bus, it will affect all the tracks, all the recordings, okay? All the instruments. So in this case, I can EQ the mix bus a little bit to keep cleaning my sound and to bring the best part of the sound up and clean it up a little bit more, yeah? With the mix bus, you want to be gentle because you already done a little bit of EQing in the tracks, so you don't really need big moves in the mix bus, yeah? Just a little bit to clean it up, to bring up some nice frequencies, and to cut the frequency that you want to cut a little bit more, yeah? And then, you know, it takes a little bit of time to kind of understand what a track needs and how to EQ tracks properly. I'm gonna bring all the instruments down. There we go. So again, yes, takes a little bit of time to understand this process of EQing and frequencies. And also I will create a PDF where you can see all the different frequencies and what they are, what they represent, and how you can use the right frequency for the right instrument. And I will put it in the section where you can download the resources. And yeah, so what I would suggest you to do homeworks for next time, if you have a loop that you've already worked on in the previous lessons, just use that one and try to EQ all the tracks. And also, you know, don't be afraid to experiment and to see and to exaggerate, with the frequencies. And yeah, explore, try to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And remember, it's there is no fixed rules that we follow. There is some lines that we usually follow, like, cutting the low frequency a little bit, cutting the high frequency a little bit on each instrument, depending on what you want. But also, it's not like a fixed rules that you need to follow. It depends on the genre, the songs that you want to produce, the instruments that you're using. There's a lot of factors that goes into EQing. So this is just for you a guideline to understand what you can do. But then obviously your track, your song, and with this guideline which frequency you should be using. But obviously sometimes the bass guitar will need a little bit more of the low end or a little bit more of the mid-range, and sometimes the violin will need a little bit more of the mid-range and less harshness and less high end. So it always depends. It is always different, but as long as you know the frequencies and what they are and how to use them correctly, then you'll be okay. So this one is, again, basic EQing. If you want to go more in depth with this topic, you can keep studying the advanced Logic Pro course that I'm gonna put on Udemy and all the other platforms. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram. My name is Daniele Montarulo, and Spotify if you want to listen to my music. And I'll see you in the next class. Thank you. Hello guys, and welcome back to the Logic Pro beginner course. I hope you're enjoying these classes, these courses, and that you're learning something valuable out of it. Today we are focusing on editing and basic mixing. So with editing, the things that we're going to have a look at is gain staging. Then we're going to have a look at automations and a little bit of mixing. Okay, so like compression on the mix bus. So editing is a very important step when it comes to music production. So it's pretty much taking all the good part of your songs, all the good tracks, putting them together, choosing the best part, and getting rid of what doesn't work in the song. So it's a very important step. And the good thing about working in a software like Logic, and obviously like recording, being able to record multiple tracks, and is that then you can choose the track that works better. So for example, when I'm recording a violin instrumental song, I will do the bass, so like the backing track. So usually it's like bass, guitar, or piano and drums and other instruments, and then I will record the violin on top of it. And because obviously the violin is a classical instrument, and sometimes you can make mistakes, or maybe you make a sound that it's not really good for the song. You want to record multiple tracks, and so you do the same recording more than once, and that's a trick that is used also like in more professional settings, like if you see singers like Billie Eilish or any professional singer, any professional musician, they will always record multiple versions of the same song. So they will go over and over again, maybe 10 times, 20 times, the same song. They will record it so that they can pick and choose the best part of each track and then put them together, and that will create the main song. This is actually called comping. So pretty much you do, you know, the whole song, you sing it, you record it first time, then you do it another time, then maybe like you do 20 different tracks, but the same song. And then, for example, if the verse is good on track 2, you take the verse from track 2, and then the chorus, maybe the best chorus is in the 5th take. So you take that one and you comp them together, you put them together, and then you can work with that track that has the best take from all the different recordings, if it makes sense, right? So that's called comping. It sounds a little bit like cheating, but when it comes to music production, the good thing about being able to record, being able to be in the studio, is that you can do it multiple times, that you can get the best out of your skills, out of your voice, out of your instruments. So it's not cheating, it's just, you know, taking the best from each take, put it together and create something unique. And yeah, you can also look it up if you go on YouTube. There's the video of Billie Eilish explaining one of her tracks, and I think there's like 82 different takes in one of her songs. So an incredible amount of work, obviously, as a audio engineer, to go there and do all this work. But obviously, we're gonna learn it, and I know it's a little bit time consuming, but also, you know, that when you have the skills to record something and it's good, maybe like in 4 or 5 different tracks, so you don't have to spend a lot of time comping, but that's another topic for today. So that was comping, and let's have a look now at a little bit more of editing. So I have the same loop that I was using in lesson number 3, and I'm gonna use this one for now. So just want to show you, for example, how to, let's say if I want to cut this loop, okay, you see this one here, let's say I want to cut it. So at the moment here I have the fade tool, so I'm gonna change this one to scissor tool, and then with command I go here and I can split it in half. Okay, so now I have, it's the same track and it's 2 different loops. I'm gonna mute this one, otherwise it's gonna play now. Okay, so as you can see, I can split it and cut it as I need it. Another function, let me move this one so I can work here easily. Other things that we can do with the software instruments, I'm gonna show you now. Actually, I'm gonna unmute just this one. So for example, you see this one. Let's have a look at the bass guitar. So if you double click on this one, this will show up, and then you can move these little things up and down to change the notes. So for example, if you make a mistake while you're recording your instruments with the keyboard, you can always go back and change this one up and down. And also you can change the length. So for example, if you don't like this one, if it's too long, you can put it back a little bit, or this one, if it's too short, you can select it and make it a little bit longer. And then another thing, very important, so let's say you want to quantize. So pretty much you can see it's on the left side of the track inspector. So let me put this one down. Okay, let's start again. So I'll select all of this. So that's the bass line. And then I'll open up the track inspector, this one. And under region, you have some options. So what you can do, for example, if you want to change this one to 8 notes, and you can see the pattern changes. Or you want to change it to this one here, or 1/16th note, it changes that way. If you want triplets, obviously depends on what the song requires and what you need, then you can go and change all these different parameters. Let me move this one second. So that's very useful because sometimes when you're recording, you're not 100% perfect, you know, so sometimes a note will be slightly off tempo, or maybe you play a note that is not in the key and you want to change the position and you want to bring it back to the key. So with this, you can go here and do all of that. So again, double click, you can take this one even more up if it's more comfortable to see. And then you can move it around. And then like this, if you go like this, you're selecting all the tracks, all the notes, sorry. And then you can also modify the velocity. Velocity is pretty much how loud the different notes are. And also you can, you can do the scale, you can change it up. So let's say you're working in C major, and then you see how the notes went up straight away. So you can change the key and you can change the swing. See how everything, when I move it, all the little notes are moving around. And these ones are, you know, pretty much representation of notes. So you have the keyboard over here. And then the strength, you can move this around as well. And you can also modify the quantization from here straight away. So I'll just put it off for now. So there's a lot of tools already here, a lot of things that you can do. And also let's have a look at the pencil tool. So let's say you want to add some notes. You have the pencil tool, you can push command, and then you can click straight away on the notes that you need. And you see how they're coming up on the screen, and then you can move it up and down as you need. Or you can, if you want to make it longer, you can move up and down. You can move 2 notes at a time, 1 note. Right. So very, very useful if you don't know how to play the keyboard, but you still want to produce music. With this little tool, you're also able to do it, as long as you know at least the name of the notes on the keyboard. That's at least something that you can start with to produce your music. Okay. So now another thing that we can have a look at is automations. So what is automation? So pretty much automations are a way to controlling the volume of the track without us going there to move the knobs around. So usually if I want to, you know, control the volume, I will take this one, the fader, up and down. Where's the voice? This is the voice. Yeah. As you can hear, the volume is going down and up and down. But if I want to automate this process, so if I want to say to the track, okay, at this time I want you to go down in volume, we can do that with automations. So for example, this is already the project that I have with some automation. So if you press A on your keyboard, this will come up. Okay. So obviously you won't have all the yellow things, but it will show up more like this. I'll show you. I'll take this one off. So if you double click, if you double click on these ones, you can actually take the automations off, and there we go. Okay, so this is how it will show up at the beginning. Okay, when you press A, there's no automations, but the standard here is volume. So you will see that you're controlling the volume in this case. Okay, so what you want to do to control it, you click on the track and then the yellow line will appear. So let's say you want to fade in a specific point of the song. So what you do is you select this one. I don't know why I started recording the bass. All right. So you see how it creates a little dot. So you do that, and then you can create another one and another one. So you make sure, for example, in this case, I have a track here. So if I put it down like this, it's gonna lower the whole thing, but I want to work on this one here on my right. Yeah, so sorry. Okay, there you go. So I'll bring it closer to my track here. So let's say I want the fade in from here. Okay, so in this case, when I get here in my track, the volume will automatically go up, and then it will play at this level. But the only thing with automations is that after I do it, I can't change the volume anymore from here. Okay, so you see how I try to change the volume here, but it keeps going back. That's because of the automation. Okay, so once you do that, it's kind of fixed. You can't move it around unless you take it off again. So let's say then I want to go fade out on this track. I do the same process, but on the other side. Yeah, so like this. Now I have fade in and fade out. Very useful because obviously you want to have different levels at different times. So you know, like not all the tracks are at the same level all the time, and sometimes you want to create a little bit of a dynamic, and with automations you will be able to create this type of dynamics. Yeah, so this one I use it a lot actually in my production, and especially like with stuff with like pads or strings, when I want to create a nice effects of the strings coming in. It's very useful to have the fade in and fade out option with the automation. Now, gain staging. Let's have a look at gain staging. What does that means, and how you can start to apply that. So gain staging is pretty much making sure that the tracks are well balanced, right? So I'm gonna copy this one again, and I'm gonna put it here. So yeah, we want to make sure that the tracks are well balanced. And how do we understand that? Well, that's very personal, and we can understand more about mixing and gain staging by listening to other people's music. So the more we listen, the more we pay attention to the balance in other songs. Like when you listen to music, try to focus on all the levels between each instrument, and how present the drum is compared to the vocals, or where the guitars are in the mix, and what levels the different instruments are, because not all the instruments are always at the same level. Otherwise it would be very noisy and confusing. So there is to be balance in the in our tracks. So I'm trying to move this project a little bit more, but I'm not sure if I can open up more. That's all right. We'll figure out when we get there. I'll move this again, and then I'll give you a little example of the gain staging. Okay, I just need some more room here to play with. There you go, it opens up a little bit at a time. That's okay. So I'm gonna take this one off so now you can all hear it. So at the moment, the guitar is too loud, so I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. The violin as well. And I'm gonna move this again so that I can keep going. And now, as you can hear, there's the bass guitar missing, right? So I'm gonna bring in a little bit of bass guitar. And now there's one more element missing, which is the drums, and I'm gonna bring that in. So you see how at the moment all the elements are working nicely together. And then you can just listen and think about what the track needs. I think I wouldn't mind a little bit more of kick in this case, but let me see if I can open up the drummer. Okay, so there is no option to just bring the kick up from these drums. So I can do that at the moment, but I will explain next time how to do it if you want to take the same drums and split it into different parts so that you can actually mix it properly. But for now, there's no option on this one. But yeah, so that's just a little preview on game staging. Obviously, it's a lot of, it comes down to your taste. The genre of music as well. So there's no, like, I can't give you like exact lines of the violin has to be at this level of volume, of the drums needs to be at this level of volume. The basic is, for example, if you have drums and vocals, the kick, the snare are always the most important parts of the drums, and the snare has to be pretty much at the same volume as the vocals. It's very, very important. So that's a guideline that you can use at least for vocals and drums, and kick and bass as well. The kick and bass needs to be kind of always at the same level. Sometimes the kick can be a bit more present, and with EQ you kind of give them space. But very important, kick and bass always pretty much together, supporting the song. And then all the other instruments are kind of optional, and it depends also if it's, if you're using a lead instrument, or like, for example, the acoustic guitar in this case. I think this is the perfect volume for it. It's like it's there, but it's not covering the other instruments. It's just like there in the background, yeah? And the volume as well, the violin as well, it's kind of in the right spot. It's not too loud. Obviously, we don't have vocals, so if there was a vocal, I will bring it probably down a little bit just to give space to the vocals. But yeah. Now, obviously, this is our visual of the, as you can see in my screen, of the mixer, whatever we are playing, all the volumes, all the levels in here. A quick thing, as I mentioned before, a little bit of compression. Let's see if I can put it. Okay. Could put the compression on the mix bus. So this is our compressor, and so what compression does, it takes pretty much the loudest part of the song and the lowest part of the song, and kind of lowers the high, it lowers the loudest part, and it brings up the softer part of our song. So in this case, this one is on the mix bus, so this is called mix bus, and that's where all the tracks are playing from. And so I'll copy this one again so I can keep working. And why do we need compression? Because a compressor will kind of help us to manage the levels and make and glue together all the sounds. Yeah. So in this case, we only need like about 2 dB of reduction sound. So as you can see here in the meter, is exactly around 2 dBs. We have a kind of slow attack, and it's pretty fast actually. Fast attack, fast release. But on the medium side, medium attack, medium release. And I will explain compression later on in the course. And then ratio around here, pretty much. Makeup. So obviously when we compress the sound, the volume will go a little bit down, and we make it up by turning this one a little bit up. But again, we will have a look at the compression down the road when we in the advanced course. So this one is just a basic for you to kind of start it off, but more in depth I will go with the other course, the advanced production course. But for this, you can practice automations, you can practice okay, I turned it off. So now you can practice your automations. You can add a little bit of compression in the mix bus. Remember, the mix bus is this one here, the stereo out, as it's called in Logic, is a standard channel. So when it's on all the mixers, you will have this one. And yeah, you can experiment with automations, with editing, gain staging, try different levels, see what works or what doesn't work for you, and keep exploring. And I'll see you in the next class. Thank you. Okay guys, welcome to the first class of the Logic Pro basic course. So today we're gonna have a look at a little bit at the interface and the first things that we can do to start working on Logic Pro. Okay, so here at the top we have the toolbar. So here we find everything that we need, like metronome, this one, and then if I click on the right of the mouse, this one will show up, and then I can modify the settings for the metronome as I want it. Okay, and then we have other options that we can use, other things. There is a tuner. Obviously it's not opening up because I'm recording, but then this is all the recording things. So this one will show up as I'm recording, and then I can play the track with this one, stop it, back and forth, very straightforward. These are for MIDI media files, and everything that we're using is here. Then the loops. So these are all loops that we can use in our tracks. I don't use a lot of loops, honestly, because I like to make my own sounds, but it's very easy to use it. And at the beginning, especially if you want to start to make some music, you can have, you can put the drums, and then you can put the piano or whatever you need, and then you can start making a little bit of music, and maybe you can record your vocals. So if if you're just starting with music, it's very good. You can use the loops, and it gives you already the opportunity to create some songs. And this one is like another section that we will have a look at later on. So we have event, marker, tempo, and signature. There's some options that we can use here to, let's say, if I have a track on 4/4, but a section of the song is in 5/4, I can change it from here, and then when it goes to the point where the 5/4 starts, then it will change automatically. Here on this display you have the time, 4/4 in this case, the key signature, and then BPMs, and this one is counting for you the tempo, the BPM. Okay, this is an editor, so that you can actually work on this one, and if you want to edit a track. This one is the mixer. So in here you will have a look at all your instruments and effects. So in this case I have an audio track where I'm recording the voice, and then a software track. Okay, also if you want to call the mixer without having to go, sorry, I just received a message. Without having to go here, you can just press the X on your keyboard and it will come up. Okay, so X to call the mixer up, and X to send it back. Okay, and then some other functions, other tools that we can use. I know at the beginning it's there's a lot of things that are involved with Logic, but one step at a time we will get there, and we will be able to understand everything. So when I open up this one, this is my track that I'm using at the moment. So on this one I can select effects, I can apply effects and everything that I need, and I can monitor the input and the levels of the track. Okay, you see this little eye in orange. This is the monitor. It allows me to hear what I'm doing while I'm recording. If this one is off, you will not be able to hear anything. So this is a pre-made option for vocals. It's compressed vocals. It's made from Logic, so I didn't do this chain. It's called chain of effects. So you will find it in Logic when you download the library, and then here this is the library menu. So we have instruments, we have different options. So this one is just for the audio tracks. So for example, if I want to record the violin, I just go to Studio Instruments and I can select the violin, and it will open up a new track with the setup for recording the violin. Same thing for woodwinds or keyboards, but this is all audio. So if you have a microphone and you want to record your guitar or your violin or whatever instrument, you can do it from here. You can select the instrument, and then you can modify, like for example, I just opened up the EQ, which is this one from my track. I'll do it again. So this one here, you can click straight there and it will open up. So if I want to modify this one, I can. So let's say I want to put this one down or up. You can hear how it changes the sound. But obviously you want to also have an understanding of what EQ is and how to use it before you start playing around with it. I mean, you can play around, obviously, and you will be more familiar with different frequencies and how they modify what you're doing in the moment. Then we have compression, and we will have a look at all these effects, all these things later on in the course. For now, we would just gonna focus on starting to produce your own track. So this is the pedal board. You have other compressions effects in here. And then there is another EQ here. And now here you see bus 2, bus 3 with more effects. And I will explain in another class what the buses are, what's the function of the bus, and why we don't put effects straight into the chain. Especially like space effects like reverb or delay, but we will have a look at that one later on in the course. Okay, so now let's have a look at quickly how to download the library, because that's the first step for you to start creating your music. So we're gonna go here in Logic Pro, we open up Sound Library, and we download the library. Now you can do this on your laptop or on a hard disk, external hard disk. I suggest doing it on the hard disk. It's a little bit annoying when you, like for example, if I'm traveling and I want to produce a song, then I don't have all the sounds available at all time, but at least my laptop is not full of sounds from the library, because it takes a lot of memory. Another quick thing, I'm gonna switch to the electric piano now, and I want to show you how you can start recording from Logic itself. So you don't need an external keyboard if you don't have it. If you press down Command and K, this little keyboard will show up in your Logic. And I love this one. It's super, super useful, because sometimes, you know, if I'm traveling, I don't have a lot of, I don't want to bring a lot of stuff with me. So I just use this one and I can still produce, I can still record things. So obviously this is an electric piano and very basic. So you have the keyboard. Obviously, if you know how to play piano, you will know what these are. So you have C. I know it's written differently, so this is the actual keyboard from the laptop, but in music this will be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so all the notes, and then all the sharps and flats, and you have the sustain pedal. So if you push down the tab and you play a note, you know, and then you lift it, that will keep playing for you. And then you have, if you want to go, I think if you want to bend the note up and down, so this is down and then up, and then I'm not sure what these ones are. We'll have a look at this later, but I think, okay, I got it. It's the modulation. So as you can hear, the upper you go, the more the sound goes right and left into your ears. And actually, if you're listening to this on your headphones, it's better, obviously. And then if we go here on the little keyboard, we can actually move octaves up and down. So if I want to play lower, too low, it doesn't recognize. Okay, there we go. So I can change the octave up and down. Okay. And yeah, so this is the little keyboard. It works for all the instruments. So whatever virtual instrument you're selecting here. So even, I don't know if I can select another one. No, I can't while I'm recording, but yeah, whatever instrument you have, like if you have a synthesizer, you can control it with this keyboard. And again, it's very useful. A lot of times while I'm traveling, I use this one. I bring my headphones and this, and I can record some music. I can produce some music. Now, another important thing that I want to give you, and then we'll close this class. It's let's go here. So let's go to settings, audio. So you will see this one when you open up Logic. So now I'm recording on my audio interface. Obviously, for microphone things, unless you have a USB microphone, you will need a interface. Or also, like if you want to record an electric guitar straight into the software, you need a interface. I'm using the Volt 2. It's a very good one. And so let's have a look. So this one is the interface, or otherwise I can use other input. And then at the moment I'm listening from my external headphones, or I can choose the audio interface as well. The buffer size, this one, when you're recording, you want a low buffer size. And when you're listening, you can choose a higher buffer size. So usually when I'm recording, it's going to be 64 or 128, it depends. But then when I'm listening, the laptop needs more power sometimes, so I put a higher buffer size. Okay, so it doesn't give me problems. Sometimes you will notice if you put too many scenes, too many effects of too many tracks, then Logic will start being a little bit funny about it, and sometimes it stops, or it crashes, or it slows down. So with this one, we can fix the problem. And another thing here that we have a look is this one, the low latency monitoring mode that I can't activate now, but this will save your life and a lot of headache. Because sometimes when you record, everything is fine, but then if you start mastering, or if you put more heavy effects and you try to record again, you will have a little bit of latency. If you know, latency is like a delay. So you say something, and the sound, you will hear it like 2-3 milliseconds later. Right? So it's a little bit of delay on the production of the sound. So when you have that problem, you come here, low latency mode, and that's it. So yeah, I think that's it for this class. You can go and start producing your own song now, and at least you can start playing around with the downloading the library. The first step, I will download the library and try to explore all the instruments and whatever I can do with Logic at the moment, and I will have a lot of fun with that. And I'll see you in the next class, guys. Thank you so much. Bye. Hello guys, and welcome back to the Logic Pro beginner course. So today we're going to have a look at the drummer option in Logic. Quite cool, you can do a lot of stuff with it. And but first, let's have a look at what we've learned so far. So the toolbar, if you can remember, like with all the tools, metronome and all the other things that you can use, the mixer, the editor, and then like all the media section here with the loops and everything else. And then the track inspector over here, so where we can have a look at what our tracks have, like effects and stuff like that, EQs, if you remember, compressor. And then this one is the library. So we have all the instruments and all the different options for microphone and for recording. But today, as I was mentioning, we are going to have a look at the drummer. One last thing. Let's have a look at these little signs in here. So last time we saw the I, which is the monitor. So if you want to listen to what you're playing, you're going to push this one. The R is obviously the record. So you always have to make sure that this one is selected when you start recording a track. Then you have the solo. So right now, this is the only track playing, but also I'm recording and you can't hear any difference. But if this one was here, let's say, and it didn't have the mute, it will be playing. But and then you have the mute button. So with this one on, you can't hear anything. But now let's have a look at the drummer. Okay, so if we open up with a double click, we have this interface for the drummer, and you can see the pattern here. And then you can select different instruments and different options. So let's have a look. For example, in here you have the fill amount. So if you wanna, more or less fill, and then you have the complexity. So how you want the fill to be. If you wanna like very elaborate, then you put more complexity, otherwise less complexity. Or if you don't want the fill at all, you can just put it back like this and that's it. And then you have the swing. So obviously if you want a rhythm, specific rhythm, you can play with this one around a little bit and you can find the rhythm that fits better your song. And then you can, with these ones, you can select the actual instruments that are playing. So for example, this one is the kick and you will see it at the bottom. So these ones here, all the kicks. And then you have the snare at the top. And then this one is tom. And then you have cymbals and hi-hat. Okay, so depends on what you select, then the drum is gonna give you that sound. Okay, then you can choose, if you go here, the different styles of music. So if you planning on a pop rock song or a retro rock, hard rock. So all the genre are here, and when you click it, you can go change session player. Now this one I didn't download it, so I'll go not now. But if you want to change, you can change it from there, and then it will change as well. And then if you go up here, you have also like different styles of drums. So you have acoustic, electronic, percussions, and you also have bass player and keyboard player. There are other options as well that you can choose. Okay, but today we're focusing on the drums. Okay, so this is pretty much how you can start to play around with the drummer. Okay, so once you select the drums that you want to, then you can play a little bit around. And now I'm going to show you what you can do. So for example, here we have this drum. I'm going to play for you 1 second. There you go. Also, one important thing, let's always make sure that the loop starts together with the numbers, like these are the bars. So it's very important that are always aligned, otherwise it will go off beat. But anyway, so I'll move this again so that I can play it. So as you can hear now, you have these drums that it is doing like a specific rhythm, and then the following drums that I put here is a completely different one. Now it's not a song, so it doesn't really make sense musically. But if you want to do that, if you want to create difference between, sorry, I just stopped the the recording. So if you want to create difference between two tracks, so what you can do, you select the drummer and then you set it up as you want. So let's say this one you don't want the fill, you take it off, and you want less complexity, you want something a little bit more simple. You see it changes, and then what you do, you copy it. So you go Command C, and then next to it, Command, put it down here. I don't know why it popped up over there, but so if you do Command C, it will copy it, and then you could do Command V if you use, obviously this one is for Apple. I'm not sure if you can use it on Windows, but yeah, with Apple you have Command V to paste it, and then you can change the setup again. So if you want more complexity or less complexity, more swing, less swing, you can change it, and now this drum will be completely different from the first drum, from this one. Okay, so you can play with this one a little bit around. You can, you know, depending on the songs that you're producing, if you're doing EDM or dubstep or rock music, you have all the options that you can choose from with the more ideal setup for your song. And then I'll show you one more thing. I'll take this off. So let's have a look at this one. Why does this track looks different? So if we open up, just clicking on this little thingy, you can see that you have all the instruments within the drum kit. And I'm gonna move this one actually here. Wait a second, sorry. I just want to select one. Oh, sorry. There you go. I'll copy it over here. So now I'm just gonna play it for 1 second. Actually, I don't need to play it. I don't need to unmute it, but as you can see, the green is coming out. So that means the track is playing, and from here you can see what instrument is playing, and you can adjust it, you can EQ it, you can gain, level it. So anything that you need to modify, you can find it here. So, and for example, you want to modify the kick, so you go here and then you open up this one, the track inspector, and now with this one, this is the kick, and you can, as you can see, there is some effects and other things that you can work on. There's a EQ, there's a gain level, but you can add other things. So for example, if I click on this one, let's say I want to add a little bit of compression. I press that one, and okay, now it's recording, so it doesn't come up. But if I click on this one and I choose compressor, then the compressor will come up, and then you can use it, or if you want to use other effects like delay or distortion, wherever, and then you can do it from here. Okay, so this is for any track. Okay, just a little so that you know how to use if you want to set up some effects or anything. So I think this is a very good class for today, and you can start using the drummer and exploring with that whatever you want to do, and have fun, and I'll see you in the next class. Bye. Guys, welcome back to the Logic Pro beginner course. Okay, today we're gonna have a look at something very, very exciting. I have some loops that we're going to use for this episode, for this class. So we're gonna learn how to set up the loops and how to use them if you want to copy them, and if you want to use multiple tracks for your song. Let me go and delete this one since I'm not gonna use, I can't. Okay, that's all right. All right, I'll see if I can reorganize them. Yes, okay. So guys, last time we had a look at the drummer, and today we're also gonna use the drummer. It's not just loops. So we have a acoustic guitar, strumming, and then the violin. These are all audio loops, so it's like real audio. And then this one is actually, I recorded it because I was looking for a bass line that will fit these loops. And then the drummers, the drummer is just the drummer from the one I showed you last time. So, okay, how to set it up? Actually, very easy and straightforward. Like I showed you last time, this is the loops section, okay? So, as you can see here, there is some options, so you can go from sorry, genre to like this descriptor, or you can just choose it on an instrument. So in this case, these are the instruments available on my loops section. I believe all the kits, I don't know why they're not showing up. Maybe I didn't download the whole thing, so that's why. If you have downloaded the library on your laptop, you should be able to have kits as well. So all the different drums and other instruments. So let's see if I can. Okay, I can't do it while I'm recording the audio, but you have an idea. So these are all the loops. So let's say you want a piano instrument, then you can choose if you want a minor or major, and then well, there's neither or both. So it will, okay, but let's go with major. And then you can choose the signature. So if you want a 4/4 or 5/4, okay, there's no option for 5/4. I think it's only, you have some 3/4 options, no 2/4. So it's kind of limited, but in saying that, there is a lot of options as well that you can choose from, and then you can select the key that you need. So once you, for example, if you're doing something like this one is in D major, the one that I choose. So obviously you choose all the D major loops. It's well, obviously you can't create a song like you would if you were recording all the instruments, but you can still do a little something with everything, all the instruments that you have. Then you have synths and other instrument, organ. You know, it's very complete. So you can do an actual song, and if you work, you know, properly around the loops, you can actually create something very nice. Now I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna move it here, and let's start. So first of all, how you can organize the different tracks. So what I actually do, I'll move this one here. So I like to have the drums always at the bottom, then the bass, guitar just above the drums, and then everything else on top. I'll just move these two as well. It kind of gives me like a little bit more of clarity. So I have, you know, the rhythm section, rhythm and bass, and then I have the acoustic guitar, and then the violin, which is the melody on top. Now, let's take this one. I'll move it again. Sorry. So I always move it because otherwise, once I bounce the track means that I'm taking the audio out of it. So if I don't move it, then you guys can't listen. So I think for now, that's the only way I've figured that I can do this. But if I find a better way, I will implement it. So let's have a listen to the loop. Okay, so that was our little loop, our little section. Now, what we can do with this, we can do a lot of things actually. So let me just take one instrument at a time. So I'll set it up here. So we can have the drums over there, then the bass, and then let's say you wanna have the guitar, and then actually let's start with only this, and then we can put the violin later. 2, 1, 2, 3, and So this way, you can kind of organize, give a little bit of arrangement to the song, and something you can start with. Now, once I selected all the tracks, when I move it, so let's say if I want to copy and paste them like next to each other, I'll do it here. So I'm pushing. While I move it, I push the Option button as well on the keyboard, so that when I put it next to it, then it's already there. It's copied. Otherwise, you can do it with the marker. But then, this is another way. So if you want to copy and paste the section next to each other, that's the way to do it. Now, there's also like other editing things that we can do. I'm going to move this again. There is some things that we can do with editing. And we can use, for example, this here, the track editor. So for example, if we go in here, so there's no, you can see there is no effects and stuff. I'm gonna stop the recording so yeah, now you can see the EQ. Okay, so I can actually now go and change the EQ on the violin. It's gonna play now. Yeah, you can hear it. So if I want to boost the high hand, I'll just do this one, or if I want to change it completely, I can just I'll leave it here. I can just use these up and down, like move it a little bit, depend on what I want to achieve, right? If I want to take all the low end out of the instrument, but you have an idea, right? So you can do this with all the instruments, with all the tracks. You can just go here, find out which effects you need, and then you can modify, and then you can adjust them. But anyway, let's see some other things that we can do with this. Undo drag. Okay. So some other things that we can do, we can loop. For example, let's take this one. So you see how when you move the mouse next to this one, it creates this little section. So like this, you're looping it. And when you do that one, you can actually loop it forever. So, but that's like a little thing there. Then if we want to, let's say we want to cut this one, we can go here, tools, we get the little scissors tool, command next to the line, and then we can split it in half. And what else we can do? Or for example, if we want to create a little fade in, fade out effect, we can take this one again, and we go to fade tool, and we go next to the line, and you see it creates this little fader, fade in, fade out. And I'm gonna put it here so that we can actually hear it goes. So again, another little tool to that you can play with. It took me some time to figure out all of these things, but during this course, obviously, we will go through also like these tools and what all of this means. But in the meantime, this is what we can do with the loops. Obviously, you can choose different instruments, different arrangement. You can arrange these loops differently. And also another thing, let me unselect this. Okay, as you can see, the colors are pretty much standard. When you open up a audio file, it will always come up with this color. When you open up a software instrument, it will always come up with this color. So if you go here and you click on the right side of the mouse and you go name and color, color region, show hide color. So with this one, you can change the colors, but let's do by instruments, because now I got, okay, so now I have the violin selected. So I'm gonna select all of these. Let's do it together. So it's just easier for you then to organize your instruments. So now I've selected this color. So that also like visually I know what instrument is what. And then if I click on the right of the mouse here where the instruments are, I can select also the little instrument so that I have violins, okay? So also visually I know what is what. So this is already a guitar, but it's kind of like, this one is cooler. We'll use that one, and then we can do the same thing here if we want to change the color of the guitar. Show hide colors, and we can use a nice pink color for the guitar. And you can do the same here with the bass guitar. Show hide colors, we use a nice blue. Okay, and then we can change this one too. I don't like this, I like the real thing. There you go. Actually, this is a guitar. Let's do this one. And I think you can do it with the drums too, if I'm not wrong. Yes, you can do with the drums too. Yes, so guys, homeworks for next week. You can come up with a 16 bars loop, and also if you want to send it to me just for fun, and I can give you some feedback if you want. You can look it up on my Instagram, Daniele Montarulo. That's DANIELE MONTARULO, and you can send me the audio file. You can send me an email, which is DANIELE.MONTARULO@outlook.it. So I can check your track and how you're progressing. But in the meantime, I'll take one loop again and I'll play it again so that we can also enjoy this little thing one more time. Let me just take it and move it here. So I'll paste it like that. There you go. So, okay, I'll move it again. Okay, so I was trying to put some fade out, but yeah, that's all right. You can experiment with that and see how you go. And it's going to be a lot of fun. This is your actual first time creating a song, and then you can, who knows, write some lyrics and improvise a little something as well on top of it. Why not? All right, I hope you're learning and you're enjoying this course, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.